Princess Ilara lay in the royal chamber, pale as the moonlight that spilled through the tall, arched windows of the palace. The city of Andralis, known across the galaxy for its shimmering towers and silver spires, seemed to mourn silently. Even the stars above appeared dimmer, as if they sensed the princess's fading life. The palace physicians, trained in the most advanced alien medicine, had tried everything. Strange machines hummed and glowed beside her bed, measuring her vital signs and searching for a cure. Herbs from distant planets, crystal elixirs, and even the rarest energizing serums had been administered. Still, her pulse remained weak and her breathing shallow. "This is unlike anything we have seen before," murmured Dr. Virel, an elder of the Royal Council. His 3 eyes blinked slowly as he watched the monitors. "We cannot keep her alive much longer without something extraordinary." The queen, tall and regal with hair like silver silk, clenched her hands. "Then what are you suggesting? Tell me now," she demanded. Virel shook his head. "There is an old legend. It says that only the blood of a true human warrior can save the princess." The chamber fell silent. Humans. The council members whispered among themselves. Humans were rare in the galaxy. Most civilizations considered them fragile, unpredictable, and at best, soldiers of opportunity. Yet the legend spoke differently. Human blood carried a vitality, a strength that no other species possessed. The queen's voice was barely a whisper. "Bring one to me, at once." Far away on the human colony of Vera, a young man named Kyle was finishing his morning drills. The human training grounds were harsh, designed to prepare soldiers for the harshest worlds. Kyle had grown up learning to survive in conditions others would call impossible. He had endured freezing nights on rocky plains, storms of electric fire, and training regimens that pushed the body and mind to the edge. Humans, he knew, were made to endure. A shimmering message panel appeared before him, displaying the royal seal of Andralis. The message was brief but urgent. "Human warrior needed. Princess Ilara's life depends on your arrival. Travel immediately." Kyle's jaw tightened. This was not a call to war, but a call to save a life. He packed lightly, taking only what was essential. Weapons were unnecessary, but his instincts told him danger might follow. Within hours, he boarded the starship bound for Andralis. The human colony had taught him to trust his skill, to adapt and to face the unknown with calm determination. He did not know the princess, but he knew that he would not fail. When Kale's ship entered the Andralis atmosphere, the city seemed to shine brighter despite the shadow of worry that hung over the palace. Towering spires reflected the sunlight, their surfaces smooth and polished like liquid metal. Hovering crafts zipped through the air, delivering goods and messages. Yet none of this beauty mattered to Kale. He was focused on the task: reach the palace, meet the princess, and do whatever was needed to save her. The palace guards looked at him with surprise. A human, so young and yet so composed, walking through their gates as if he belonged. They had heard tales of human warriors, but seeing one in person was different. Kale's presence alone seemed to carry an energy, a quiet confidence. He was led to the princess's chamber immediately. The room smelled faintly of herbs and antiseptic. Machines lined the walls, blinking in rhythm with her weak pulse. Princess Ilara lay on a bed of white silk, her dark hair spread like a halo around her face. She looked so fragile that Kale had to take a moment to remind himself that he had a role to play. "Princess Ilara," Kale said softly, bowing slightly. His voice was calm, steady, and yet carried a strength that filled the room. The princess opened her eyes slowly. They were deep blue like the oceans of Earth and filled with a quiet sadness. "Are you the human?" she asked, her voice barely audible. "I am," Kale replied. "I have come to help you." Virel, standing nearby, gestured to Kale. "Your Highness, this young human warrior has the qualities our legends say are required. Only his blood, his vitality, may be able to save you." Ilara's brow furrowed. "And it will not harm him?" she asked, her voice trembling. Kale shook his head. "I will do whatever is needed. My life is mine, but your life is far more important." Humans were raised to act with courage, but also with purpose. Kale had faced death many times in training and combat, yet he felt no fear. "Only focus." The queen stepped forward. "Kale, the artifact that will transfer your vitality safely is ancient. It is hidden deep within the ruins of Aralis. Without it, your blood alone could weaken you or fail. You must retrieve it." Kale nodded, understanding immediately. The mission was clear. Retrieve the artifact, survive the dangers that awaited, and return in time to save the princess. As he prepared for the journey, Kale met the council members assigned to accompany him. Lyra, a skilled alien warrior whose agility was unmatched. Tharn, a brute of a soldier from the planet Vokar, with strength that rivaled mountains. And Saren, a strategist with a sharp mind and 3 eyes that missed nothing. At first they looked at Kale with doubt. How could a single human, young and small compared to their size, lead a mission through unknown dangers? Kale noticed their doubt but did not take offense. Humans had learned to survive against odds others thought impossible. He simply said, "Follow my lead. I do not promise to be the strongest, but I promise I will keep you alive." The journey began aboard a swift cruiser. The path to Oralis was perilous. Stars streaked past the windows as the cruiser navigated asteroid belts and ion storms. The alien crew watched in awe as Kale calculated maneuvers in seconds, avoiding collisions with precision that no onboard computer could match. Each action reminded them of one truth: humans were not weak. Humans were adaptable, courageous, and capable of surprising ingenuity. During the first night of travel, Kyle sat quietly in the observation deck staring at the stars. He thought of the princess lying in her chamber, her life fading with each passing moment. Every human in the galaxy had heard tales of aliens viewing humans as fragile. Yet here he was, the hope for a dying princess. He smiled faintly. Humans were underestimated often, but in critical moments their courage and resilience always shone. Back in the palace, Princess Ilara drifted in and out of consciousness. Her dreams were filled with stars, with distant worlds, and with a young warrior whose face she did not yet fully remember. She could feel somehow the determination that radiated from him even from afar. It gave her strength, just enough to fight, just enough to keep her pulse from fading completely. As the cruiser approached the edge of the nebula of shadows, Kale briefed his team. "The path ahead will be dangerous. We will face gravitational storms, debris fields, and perhaps rivals who also seek the artifact. Stay alert. Trust each other. And remember, human or not, we fight together." Lyra, once skeptical, nodded slowly. "You are unlike any human I imagined. I will follow you." Tharn grunted his approval, and Saren's eyes sparkled with respect. Even before the trials began, Kale had earned their trust, not through words, but through actions, calm judgment, and quiet confidence. For the first time in many cycles, the people of Andralis had a glimmer of hope. Perhaps, just perhaps, this human warrior, misjudged by many, underestimated by most, could save their princess. Kale stared out into the endless darkness of space. Ahead lay danger, mystery, and trials that would test every ounce of skill, courage, and wit he possessed. But Kale was ready. Humans thrived where others faltered. Humans survived when others perished. And humans could shine brightest when all seemed lost. The cruiser plunged into the swirling colors of the nebula, and the journey to save Princess Ilara had truly begun. The cruiser sliced through the swirling colors of the nebula of shadows, a place so dense that even light seemed to bend around it. Outside the viewport, clouds of gas shimmered in green and purple, giving the illusion of a living, breathing world. For Kale and his team, the nebula was the first real test. Kale stood at the front of the bridge, hands lightly gripping the railing. The sensors show unstable gravitational currents ahead. "We must navigate carefully," he said. His voice carried calm authority. Lyra, Tharn, and Saren watched him closely, their initial doubts slowly giving way to respect. Lyra, agile and quick, tilted her head. "Do you really think your human instincts can handle this? No computer can predict every current." Kyle smiled faintly. "Sometimes instinct sees what machines cannot. Trust me. I've trained for worse." The cruiser shuddered as they entered the heart of the nebula. Waves of gravity pulled at the hull, throwing them slightly off course. Warning alarms beeped relentlessly, and the team struggled to maintain control. Kyle moved swiftly, analyzing patterns, predicting the currents before they hit.
"Hold steady!"
Lyra, adjust the thrusters. Tharn, brace the aft stabilizers. Saren, monitor the sensors for sudden spikes. The team followed his instructions with precision. Even Tharn, whose massive frame made him slow in most delicate tasks, moved efficiently under Kale's guidance. Within minutes, the cruiser stabilized, slicing through the chaotic nebula like a blade through water. As the ship cleared the densest section, Saren spoke, admiration clear in his voice. I admit I doubted you, Kale, but your instincts, they are remarkable. Kale shrugged. Instinct is nothing without focus. Humans survive because we learn to pay attention, adapt, and act quickly. You'll see more of it soon. That night, the crew gathered in the small common area. The nebula outside cast dancing lights across the walls. Kale, despite the pressure, remained calm, eating a simple meal of protein paste and water. Lyra looked at him, curiosity in her eyes. Why do humans fight so differently? You don't rely on strength alone. Kale took a bite and nodded. We rely on our minds as much as our bodies. Survival is not just about power, it's about thinking, adapting, and never giving up. That's what keeps humans alive in worlds where others would fail. Tharn grunted in agreement. I've fought in many battles, yet humans always surprise me. Small, clever, quick. You find ways to win when others would fall. Kale smiled faintly, but his thoughts were elsewhere. He thought of Princess Ilara, of her life slowly fading with every passing hour. The mission was not just about reaching Oralis. It was about saving a life, something far more important than glory or battle. Humans fought not just to survive, but to protect, to care, to endure for something greater than themselves. The next day, they approached the asteroid field that marked the boundary of the nebula of shadows. Jagged rocks floated in chaotic patterns, shifting unpredictably. One wrong move could tear the cruiser apart. Kale took the controls personally. We move slowly. Follow my guidance. Trust me. As they navigated, a massive asteroid suddenly shifted, barreling toward the cruiser at impossible speed. Lyra shouted, "Brace for impact." Kale reacted instantly, pushing the cruiser's thrusters to the limit. Now! He twisted the controls, dodging the asteroid by mere meters. The team gasped, adrenaline surging. Tharn's large hands pounded the console. I did not think you could do that. Kale's face remained calm. Humans survive because we anticipate, we calculate, and we act decisively. This is just one example. Once through the asteroid field, the cruiser entered open space, but the sense of danger remained. Rival factions, rumors said, also sought the ancient artifact of Oralis. Some might follow them, hoping to claim it for their own purposes. Saren, always watchful, spoke quietly. We are not alone. Sensors detect small crafts moving in formation, likely scouts. They might be following us, Kale nodded. Good, let them follow. We will be ready. His mind worked quickly, planning strategies for potential ambushes. Humans were used to facing enemies who were stronger, faster, or more numerous and surviving anyway. As night fell, the team took turns resting. Kale stayed in the cockpit, monitoring every signal. Hours passed, and the distant lights of the stars outside reminded him of the worlds he had left behind. Humans had always been explorers, adventurers, wanderers. This mission was no different. He felt a quiet pride in being the one tasked with hope. Hope not just for Princess Ilara, but for the belief that humans could make a difference in the galaxy. On the third day, they reached the edge of a black void, a region of space riddled with hidden mines, remnants of ancient wars. Even a single collision could destroy the cruiser. Kyle's eyes scanned the sensors. We go slowly. Lyra, take the front scanners. Tharn, monitor the sides. Saren, watch the rear. Every mine, every fluctuation, we navigate through it together. Hours passed in tense silence. The team moved in perfect coordination, relying on Kale's guidance and their own skill. Finally, they reached the other side. No one spoke at first, the relief too great. Lyra broke the silence. I have never seen such precision. You humans, you think differently. It's not just instinct, it's strategy combined with courage. Kale nodded. Courage is only useful when paired with thought. Humans survive because we never stop learning, never stop thinking, and never stop trying. After the minefield, Kale called the team together. We are nearing Oralis. The artifact is rumored to be deep in the ruins. There will be traps, guardians, tests of skill and mind. We must remain vigilant. Saren's three eyes scanned Kale carefully. We have followed you this far. I will not doubt your judgment again. Humans are remarkable. Kale smiled faintly, but his mind was already racing ahead. The journey had only just begun. Every step, every decision mattered. The princess's life depended on it, and Kale understood the weight of that responsibility. That night, as the cruiser drifted through empty space, Kale reflected on the qualities that made humans special: adaptability, courage, ingenuity, resourcefulness. Even when facing species stronger or larger, Humans could survive and often thrive. Lyra approached him quietly. "Do you think we will make it?" she asked. Kale's eyes met hers, calm but unwavering. "We will. Humans do not give up. We fight, we adapt, we endure. That is how we survive. That is how we save lives." The crew settled for rest, but Kale remained awake a while longer, gazing at the stars. He could feel the pressure, the weight of the princess's life in his hands, but also a quiet determination that humans always carried in their hearts. No matter how impossible the odds, no matter how dire the situation, there was always a way forward. As the cruiser approached the outer limits of Oralis, a strange silence filled the cabin. No sensors detected life, no lights glimmered. The ruins of the ancient civilization lay ahead, hidden and waiting. Kale felt a surge of anticipation. The real test, the one that would determine if Princess Alara lived or died, was about to begin. He turned to his team. "Rest if you can. Tomorrow we enter Oralis. Stay sharp. Trust each other. And remember, humans survive where others fail." For the first time, the alien warriors truly understood what the legend meant. Humans were not merely soldiers. They were survivors, thinkers, protectors. And in the darkest corners of space, with danger around every corner, that truth shone brighter than any star. Kale allowed himself a quiet smile. The journey was far from over, but he knew one thing. With determination, courage, and human ingenuity, they would face any challenge and emerge victorious. The cruiser drifted silently toward the ruins, carrying not just a human warrior, but the hope of a dying princess and the promise of an extraordinary adventure. The ruins of Oralis appeared on the cruiser's sensors like a shattered crown floating in darkness. Vast, jagged towers of unknown metal and crystal jutted from the ground, remnants of a civilization long gone. Strange energy pulses shimmered around the ruins, hinting at hidden power. Kale's heart pounded with anticipation. This was the place the artifact was said to be hidden, a relic capable of transferring human vitality to save Princess Alara. "Prepare for landing," Kyle said, voice calm but firm. "The ruins may be unstable. Move carefully, watch each other, and stay alert. We do not know what awaits us." The team disembarked, their boots echoing against the cracked floors of ancient corridors. Dust hung in the air, and the faint hum of energy resonated through the stone-like walls. Shadows stretched unnaturally, creating illusions of movement. Kale's human instincts sharpened. He could sense danger lurking around every corner. "This place feels alive," Lyra whispered. Her eyes scanned the hallways. "It watches us." "Perhaps it does," Kale replied. "Or perhaps it's just designed to make intruders feel afraid. Either way, we cannot hesitate." They moved deeper into the ruins, passing collapsed chambers, broken machinery, and murals depicting humans and alien figures working together. Strange, considering Oralis had vanished from history thousands of cycles ago. Hours passed as the team navigated the twisting corridors. Then, in a large chamber filled with faint blue light, they encountered another group, a faction of alien mercenaries seeking the artifact. Their leader, a tall, shadowy figure with glowing red eyes, raised a hand. "I see we are not the only ones hunting the prize," he said, voice echoing. "Step aside or face consequences." Kale's mind worked quickly. "We don't want to fight," he said, speaking firmly yet calmly. "We are only here to save a life. But if you threaten us, we will defend ourselves." The mercenaries laughed, stepping forward with weapons raised. Lyra and Tharn moved to flank them, and Saren scanned the area for traps or advantages. Kale noticed the pattern in the mercenaries' formation and realized they were inexperienced, relying on brute force rather than strategy. "Humans fight differently," Kale muttered to himself, eyes narrowing. "They underestimate intelligence over strength." He moved quickly, dodging a swinging energy staff and knocking one mercenary off balance. Lyra used her agility to disable two more, while Tharn's sheer strength forced the others to retreat temporarily. Within minutes, Kale and his team had cleared the chamber, but Kale knew this was only the beginning. As they regrouped, a sudden tremor shook the ruins. Dust and debris fell from the ceiling. Saren's eyes widened. "The structure is collapsing." Kale grabbed Lyra's arm and pulled her out of the falling debris. "Move, every step counts." They sprinted through crumbling hallways, dodging falling pillars and shifting floors. Kale's heart pounded, but he remained focused. Humans were trained to act under pressure, to make quick decisions when lives hung in the balance. He guided the team with precision, anticipating dangers before they happened. Finally, they reached a safer chamber. Kale took a moment to catch his breath. We're not done yet. The artifact is still ahead and others will not give up easily. We must stay alert. But even as he spoke, he felt a sharp pain in his side. One of the alien allies, a member who had seemed loyal, had struck him with a hidden blade. Kale staggered but caught himself. Shock flashed across his mind, not from the pain but from betrayal. Why? Kale demanded, voice steady despite the sting. The traitor's eyes gleamed with greed. The artifact will grant power to whoever claims it. The princess is not worth a human's blood. I will take it. Kale's instincts took over. Humans had faced betrayal countless times and survival depended on calm, quick action. He ducked, rolled, and used the momentum to knock the traitor against a wall. Dust and stone fell around them as Kale struck again, disarming the alien. Humans do not give up, Kale said, standing tall, eyes blazing. We survive, adapt, and protect those who cannot defend themselves. The traitor hissed but was restrained by Tharn. Kale took a moment to steady himself, then turned to his team. We cannot waste time. The artifact is close and we must move forward. Trust each other completely. That is the only way we survive. They continued, more cautious than before. Every corridor, every shadow was now a potential threat. Yet Kale's leadership inspired confidence. Humans were not the strongest individually, but they could unite, adapt, and overcome obstacles others thought insurmountable. As they approached a massive chamber, a low hum filled the air. The artifact's energy pulsed through the walls, reacting to their presence. Kale's heart raced with anticipation. They were closer than ever before, but the rival mercenaries had returned, stronger and more prepared. They had studied Kale's tactics, trying to anticipate his moves. Kale assessed the situation quickly. Use the environment, he whispered. We are outnumbered, but we are not outsmarted. Lyra leaped onto a raised platform, kicking energy conduits to create sparks and distractions. Tharn lifted a heavy beam, blocking one of the enemy's paths. Kale moved with precision, using quick strikes and calculated dodges to disable opponents without unnecessary risk. Humans had learned to survive through cleverness and courage, and Kale demonstrated it brilliantly. The battle was fierce but short. The mercenaries, frustrated and outmaneuvered, retreated into the shadows. Kale and his team did not pursue. They knew the ruins held dangers far greater than any rival. Breathing heavily, Kale turned to his companions. This is a test not just of strength but of will. Humans survive when others falter. Remember that. Saren nodded, respect shining in his eyes. I understand now. Humans are not just warriors. You are leaders, thinkers, survivors. And your blood, your spirit, may save a life. Kale felt a surge of quiet pride. Humans were underestimated too often, yet here, in the heart of ancient ruins, their value was clear. Every decision, every action, every calculated risk had brought them this far. The team pressed on, entering the final chamber. Energy pulsed from the artifact, casting a brilliant glow across the walls. Symbols of Oralis civilization shimmered with strange, forgotten knowledge. Kale approached cautiously, sensing the trials that still awaited. This is it, he whispered. The artifact is real and it is powerful. But we must be careful. The ruins will test more than our strength. It will test our minds, our resolve, and our unity. Lyra stepped beside him. We will follow you, Kale. Your courage inspires us humans. You are more than we imagined. Kyle smiled faintly. Thank you. But remember, it is not courage alone that saves lives. It is determination, intelligence, and the willingness to endure when all seems lost. That is what makes humans extraordinary. The chamber's energy pulsed faster, reacting to Kale's presence. He knew that retrieving the artifact would not be simple. A final guardian, some unseen force, would challenge them. But Kale was ready. Humans thrived where others failed, and he would not let Princess Ilara's life slip away. As they moved closer to the glowing artifact, Kale felt a strange warmth in his chest, a reminder of why humans endured. Courage was born in the darkest moments, and hope shone brightest when all seemed lost. The real trial was about to begin, but Kale was ready. He turned to his team one last time before stepping forward. Stay close. Trust each other. And remember, humans survive where others falter. We fight not just for ourselves, but for those who cannot fight. That is our strength. With that, Kale stepped into the chamber, and the glow of the artifact bathed him in light. The final challenge had begun. The chamber glowed with an ethereal blue light, casting long shadows that danced across the walls. The artifact, a crystalline vessel pulsing with energy, floated in the center, suspended by invisible forces, its brilliance reflected in Kale's determined eyes. The air vibrated with power, and the hum of energy was almost musical. "This is it," Kale whispered to his team. "We must approach carefully. The artifact will test us, not just our strength, but our minds, our courage, and our unity." Lyra stepped forward, her agile form moving like a shadow. "Do you think the legend was true? That only human blood could activate it?" Kale nodded. "Yes, but the artifact will not take life without reason. It reacts to determination, skill, and intent. It will not be easy, but we are ready." The floor beneath them shifted suddenly. Panels slid open, revealing a series of trials, paths of glowing tiles that appeared to float above the chamber floor. Each step emitted a faint pulse, and the energy from the artifact intensified with every move. Kale's instincts kicked in. Humans had learned to survive in impossible conditions, to act under pressure, and to adapt when everything around them seemed hostile. He examined the tiles. "We must move carefully. Step only where the energy feels stable. Watch for patterns. Trust your instincts." The team followed, each step a careful balance of judgment and courage. One misstep could trigger traps or collapse the path beneath them. Kyle led the way, observing each movement, predicting the safest path. His human intuition, honed through years of survival and combat, guided them. Halfway across, a trap activated. A wall of energy surged toward them, crackling with power. Lyra leaped forward, flipping gracefully over the barrier. Tharn used his strength to push a fallen panel in their path, creating a temporary bridge. Kale calculated the timing perfectly, running and vaulting to land safely on the next tile. "Humans think differently," Lyra said, her voice filled with awe. "You plan and act at the same time. You survive in ways others cannot." Kyle smiled faintly. "It is not just thinking or strength, it is the combination. Humans endure because we adapt. We never stop looking for solutions, even when all seems lost." The trials grew more difficult. The tiles shifted unpredictably, forcing rapid decisions. Energy beams swept across the floor, requiring precise timing. Pressure plates released jets of force. Yet Kale guided the team through each challenge, demonstrating the unique qualities of humanity: courage, adaptability, and ingenuity. Finally, they reached a vast platform at the heart of the chamber. The artifact hovered above a pedestal, glowing brighter than ever. But a figure emerged from the shadows, a guardian of the artifact, tall and imposing, with eyes that burned like molten gold. Its presence radiated authority and power. "I am the Keeper," it said in a deep, resonant voice. "None may claim the artifact without proving worth. Only the one who demonstrates courage, wisdom, and selflessness shall succeed." Kyle stepped forward, his posture steady. "I am human. I do not claim power for myself. I claim it to save a life. Princess Ilara's life depends on this, and I will endure whatever trials you set before me." The Guardian's eyes glowed brighter. "Then face the final test. Endure the trial of mind, body, and spirit. Only then will the artifact respond to your presence." The platform shifted, and a series of challenges appeared simultaneously. Moving walls tested agility. Glowing symbols demanded mental focus, and pulses of energy threatened to overwhelm their senses. Kale's heart raced, but he remained calm. Humans thrived under pressure. Survival depended on clear thinking, quick reactions, and trust in one's instincts. First, he faced the mental challenge. Symbols floated in the air, forming patterns that shifted rapidly. Kyle analyzed them, noticing the sequence hidden within the chaos. With steady hands, he traced the correct pattern, unlocking the next phase. The Guardian nodded, approving his intelligence and focus. Next came the physical challenge. Platforms rose and fell unpredictably. Energy barriers shifted, and the very floor seemed alive. Kale moved with precision, leaping, dodging, and timing each step perfectly. Tharn and Lyra followed his lead, their trust in him absolute. Saren calculated the safest paths based on Kyle's instincts. Together they moved as one unit. Finally, the trial of spirit approached. Shadows of doubt and fear manifested around Kale, whispering of failure, of weakness, of impossibility. The air grew thick with illusion, making him question reality. But Kyle remembered the princess, her life fading with every moment. Human perseverance had always been strongest when hope was all that remained. "I will not fail," Kale whispered to himself. "Humans endure, humans fight, humans survive no matter the odds." He stepped forward, facing the illusions with unwavering resolve. The shadows wavered and dissolved, unable to overcome the determination radiating from him. The Guardian's eyes glowed with respect. "You have proven your worth," it said. "The artifact shall respond." A beam of light extended from the artifact surrounding Kale. Energy pulsed through him, but he did not falter. His vitality and strength, hallmarks of humanity, channeled into the crystalline vessel, forming a shimmering container of energy that could transfer life without harming him. Kale exhaled, relief and focus intertwining. The trials were not meant to kill him. They were meant to test the qualities that made humans extraordinary: courage, intelligence, adaptability, and selflessness. He had endured them all. The Guardian stepped aside. "The artifact is yours to use. Its power shall save the one you fight for without taking your life." Kale approached the artifact, feeling its warmth and energy. He thought of Princess Alara, of her pale face, her weakening pulse. Every step, every decision, every risk he had taken had led to this moment. Humans were underestimated across the galaxy, but here, they had proven their value. Lyra stepped beside him. "We are ready, Kale. You have led us with courage and wisdom. Now it is time to save her." Kale nodded. He activated the artifact, and a soft glow extended outward, forming a path back to Andralis. The vessel of energy pulsed with life, safe and controlled, ready to heal the princess. Before leaving, Kyle looked at the Guardian. "Thank you. You have tested me, and I have learned much. Humans survive because we endure, because we care, and because we act when others cannot." The Guardian inclined its head, a gesture of acknowledgement. "Humans are rare but remarkable. Your courage and spirit honor your kind. Go now. Save the princess." The journey back through the ruins was cautious but confident. Kale guided the team carefully, avoiding collapsed sections and residual energy traps. The ruins of Oralis had tested them to their limits, yet humans had endured. Humans had survived where others might have failed. Finally, the cruiser was ready. Kale and his team boarded, carrying the artifact with utmost care. The engines roared to life, propelling them through the remnants of the ancient world and into the emptiness of space. Kale took a moment to reflect. Humans were often underestimated, their potential dismissed. But in trials, humans revealed their true strength, the ability to adapt, to think, to fight, and to endure. It was not sheer power that made humans extraordinary. It was the combination of courage, intelligence, and selflessness. Saren glanced at him, awe in her 3 eyes. "I have learned more than I imagined. Humans are extraordinary. Your blood, your spirit, it is more than legend." Kyle smiled faintly. "Humans do not seek legend. We act when needed. We endure when others falter. That is enough." The artifact glowed softly, resonating with Kale's vitality. He knew the final step awaited, returning to Andralis and using it to heal Princess Alara. Every challenge had prepared him for this moment. Every trial had proven the qualities that made humans remarkable in the galaxy. As the cruiser streaked through the stars, Kale felt a quiet determination. The final trial of the artifact was complete. The greater trial, saving a life, proving humanity's strength to the universe, was next. Kale allowed himself a brief moment of satisfaction. Humans had endured impossible trials before. They had faced impossible odds and emerged stronger, and now the greatest challenge remained: saving Princess Alara and showing that human courage and spirit could shine brightest when all seemed lost. The stars stretched ahead, a path toward hope, life, and the ultimate triumph of human resilience. Kale gripped the controls, heart steady, mind sharp. The final journey to save the princess had begun. The cruiser streaked through space, carrying Kale, his team, and the artifact shimmering with energy. Every star outside the viewport seemed to shine brighter, reflecting the hope and determination that filled the cabin. Princess Ilara's life depended on them, and Kale felt the weight of that responsibility, heavy but not overwhelming. Humans had been tested in impossible situations before, and now all their skill, courage, and ingenuity would be needed to save her. Approaching Andralis atmosphere, Saren announced. "Sensors show no interference. We should reach the palace quickly." Kyle nodded. "Good, we cannot waste time. The artifact must be used immediately, while its energy is at full strength." The palace came into view, silver spires glinting under the sun. Despite its beauty, there was a sense of tension and urgency. Word of Kale's mission had spread, and many awaited the outcome silently. When the cruiser landed, the palace doors opened, revealing the queen and her council. Their eyes widened as they saw Kale carrying the glowing artifact, calm but resolute. "Kale," the queen said, her voice trembling. Is she still alive?" Kale nodded.
Yes, but just barely.
"We must act quickly." They moved to the princess's chamber. Machines beeped softly, monitoring her faint pulse. Her skin was still pale, her breathing shallow. Kyle approached carefully, holding the artifact between both hands. Its energy pulsed like a heartbeat, resonating with his own vitality. "Stand back," he said to the team. "This must be done with precision." Kale placed the artifact above the princess. The light extended, enveloping her in a gentle glow. He focused, allowing his human vitality and the energy of the artifact to merge. Slowly, her color returned, her breathing grew stronger, and her pulse became steady. Kale's hands remained steady, though he could feel the strain of channeling his life force. The team watched in awe. Lyra whispered, "I have never seen anything like this. His courage, his selflessness. It is incredible." Tharn grunted in agreement. "A human's strength is not just in the body. It is in the spirit." Minutes passed, each one tense and crucial. Kale's eyes remained fixed on the princess. Humans had always survived because they adapted, endured, and acted with purpose. Every action, every thought, every ounce of energy he had carried from Oralis to Andralis had led to this moment. Finally, the artifact's glow softened, and Princess Alara's eyes fluttered open. They were deep blue, clear, and full of life. She looked around, weak but smiling faintly. "Kyle," she whispered, "you saved me." Kyle smiled, exhaustion mixed with quiet pride. "You are safe now, princess. That is all that matters." The queen approached, tears glistening in her eyes. "Kale, you have done what no one thought possible. You have saved her life." Kale shook his head gently. "It was not me alone. Lyra, Tharn, Saren, all of us worked together. Humans survive through cooperation as much as courage, and we endure for those who cannot defend themselves." The council, once doubtful of human abilities, now looked upon Kale with deep respect. Humans, they realized, were more than myths or soldiers. They were leaders, problem solvers, and protectors. Their ingenuity and courage had changed the fate of the princess and the future of Andralis. Princess Alara tried to sit up, but Kale placed a gentle hand on her shoulder. "Take your time, rest now. Your strength will return fully soon." The artifact hovered quietly beside the bed, its energy spent but still glowing faintly. Kale turned to the queen. "It has done its work. The princess is safe. Humans endure even in places others cannot reach. That is our gift." Word of the rescue spread quickly throughout Andralis. Citizens cheered, and even neighboring planets sent messages of admiration. Humans were no longer seen as fragile or unreliable. One human warrior had proven that courage, intelligence, and perseverance could overcome any challenge. That evening in the royal hall, the queen hosted a small ceremony. She stood before Kale and his team, her voice steady and full of gratitude. "Kale, your bravery has saved my daughter and our kingdom. The legend of human resilience is true. You and your people are extraordinary." Kyle bowed respectfully. "I do not seek reward, your majesty. I only ask that humans be recognized for their strength and courage in the galaxy. That is enough." Princess Alara, now sitting upright and healthy, reached out to Kale. "I owe my life to you, not just your strength, but your determination and spirit. Humans are truly remarkable." Kale smiled, humbled. "It was an honor to serve, Princess. Humans endure when others falter, and we fight not for ourselves alone, but for those who cannot fight." The queen and the council nodded, understanding the deeper truth. Humans had survived countless challenges on distant planets, adapted to the harshest conditions, and faced impossible odds. They were capable of extraordinary courage and resourcefulness. Later that night, Kyle stood alone on a balcony, gazing at the stars. The city below was calm, the palace quiet. He thought of the journey, from Vera to Andralis, through the nebula of shadows, the asteroid fields, and the ruins of Oralis. Every danger, every obstacle had tested him. Humans had endured because they adapted, because they persevered, and because they acted when it mattered most. He allowed himself a small smile. Humanity had been underestimated, doubted, and dismissed across the galaxy. Yet here, one human warrior had saved a life and earned respect that might last for generations. Humans were more than myths. They were hope, courage, and resilience in action. Princess Ilara came to the balcony quietly, her steps light. "Kyle," she said softly, "you have done more than save me. You have shown the galaxy what humans are capable of." Kyle nodded. "It was the mission, Princess. But humans survive because we endure, adapt, and fight for others. That is what we are." Ilara smiled, her eyes reflecting the stars above. "Then the future is bright, not just for me, but for all who learn of your courage." Kale looked out at the horizon, the city lights sparkling like distant stars. "Yes, the future is bright. Humans have much to offer, and we will continue to endure and inspire wherever we go." The palace, once shadowed by fear, now radiated hope. Princess Ilara's life had been saved, and the people of Andralis had witnessed something extraordinary. One human warrior had shown them that courage, intelligence, adaptability, and selflessness were not just stories, they were real, and they could change the course of history. Kale returned the artifact to a secure chamber, ensuring it could be used in the future if ever needed again. Its energy had been extraordinary, but it had been the human warrior's determination and spirit that had truly made the difference. As the night deepened, Kale and his team prepared to depart. They had completed their mission, yet the bond between humans and Andralis had grown stronger. Lyra, Tharn, and Saren looked at Kale with admiration. Humans were more than allies. They were examples of what could be achieved with courage, intelligence, and unwavering perseverance. Before leaving, Princess Ilara approached Kale one last time. "You have given me a second chance at life. I will never forget your courage, your determination, or the gift of your spirit." Kyle bowed. "Live well, Princess. That is the greatest reward a human warrior can receive." As the cruiser ascended, Kale gazed at the glittering towers of Andralis, the stars stretching endlessly beyond. Humans had been underestimated across the galaxy. Yet here one human had saved a princess, earned respect, and proven that when all seems lost, courage and perseverance can shine brighter than any star. The journey had ended, but the story of human resilience, ingenuity, and bravery would endure. Across galaxies, civilizations would speak of the human warrior who faced impossible odds, retrieved an ancient artifact, and saved a life. Kale, the quiet hero, had shown what humans could do, not through sheer strength alone, but through courage, intellect, and the unwavering desire to protect and endure. And somewhere among the stars, Kale allowed himself a quiet thought. Humans would continue to fight, to endure and to shine no matter the odds. After all, survival was in their nature, courage in their hearts, and hope in their spirit. The stars stretched endlessly before him, and Kale knew that wherever danger, challenge, or despair awaited, humans would endure, adapt, and triumph. Princess Ilara smiled one last time, resting safely, her life secured by the determination and spirit of a human warrior. The kingdom of Andralis would remember this day forever. A day when courage, perseverance, and the extraordinary qualities of humans changed everything.